We are very pleased tonight to be able to pay tribute to two outstanding honorees this evening. To help introduce our first honoree, please welcome the President of CAF, the Development Bank of Latin America, and co-vice chair of the Inter-American Dialogue and a member of the Gala Committee, the Honorable Enrique García.
Well, thank you very much. It's a very pleasant evening indeed, and it is a great honor and a great pleasure, I would say, to introduce a great man, Salvador Paiz. The Dialogue has an award for civic engagement that recognizes extraordinary effectiveness in promoting good policy in Latin America and the Caribbean. Salvador Paiz, who will join us very shortly, is precisely the kind of leader that we believe in the Dialogue is the type of person who deserves to have a special award. Salvador is co-chairman of Grupo PDC, a holding company with interest in distribution and real estate, finance throughout Central America, and member of the board of Walmart in Mexico. He is also a very important NGO leader who has advocated through the years activities to reduce poverty and, very important nowadays in the region, the improvement of Guatemala's educational system. By promoting effective non-governmental initiatives to change, such as, I'll mention a few, Empresarios por la Educación, Tecnología para Educar, FunSEPA, Fundesa, and others. Salvador has a very solid academic background indeed. He has got a bachelor's degree with honors from Wharton. He received an MBA from MIT, and at the present time, he is a research fellow at Fordham University. He is also a member, and we are very pleased to have him as a member of the Inter-American Dialogue, and is a founding member of its Commission for Quality Education for All. But let me be more precise about some of the remarkable achievements that make him eligible for the award we are going to give him in a few moments. There are four things. One is FunSEPA. The second thing is Alertus organization. The third is Alliance for Nutrition. And the fourth is Guatemala Visible. Let's go to the first one. FunSEPA, which Salvador chairs, this is remarkable, has installed 16,000 computers in more than 1,000 public schools in his country, and has trained and certified over 85,000 public school teachers, which represent, in fact, about 60% of the total teacher population of the country. He has been also a leading advocate of Mejoremos Gente, a long-term holistic development roadmap with short-term actionable projects, such as Alertus organization. This is very important. It's a new platform that recruits citizens to report crimes using 21st century technology. In other words, email, Twitter, Facebook, mobile maps, and text messaging to preserve the security of the country. Another initiative which I remark as very important is the Alliance for Nutrition. an initiative to reduce the country 49% chronic malnutrition rate, as well as the final thing is Guatemala Visible. Very important. A citizen movement whose main objective is to improve the quality of the nomination process for candidates to the Supreme Court and Attorney General, among others. So as you can see, all these elements put together make no doubt Salvador a very important man in the region. And in addition to that is a new generation. That's very important, a leader in the region. So please, Salvador, join us. And I'm very pleased So really, I think is a role model of entrepreneurs with a social conscience. And on behalf of the board of the Inter-American Dialogue and the Dialogue, I'm very, very pleased that, Salvador, you're receiving this award that you deserve so much. Congratulations.
This is heavy. Thank you very much, Enrique García, for that heartwarming introduction. Thank you also to our host, OAS Secretary General Jose Miguel Insulza, and Dialogue President Michael Shifter. Dear members and friends of the Inter-American Dialogue, it is truly humbling to stand before you to receive this award. I receive it not only on my own behalf, but also on behalf of the committed donors, board members, staff members, and citizens that have believed in the transformational initiatives mentioned by Enrique García. The importance of this award cannot be understated. Transforming a nation is a process fraught with uncertainty and tribulations, but there are also many rewards. And seeing tangible changes in Guatemala is the most rewarding of all. My father, who died while trying to improve development in our region, taught me that a country is only as good as its citizens, and that we each have a role in shaping its future. Your validation of our work reaffirms our commitment towards building a more prosperous and just Guatemala. It is gratifying to stand before an audience that is committed towards improving our region. I want to celebrate each and every one of you for your work. The Latin American region has undoubtedly made progress over the last century, but for most of our countries, the rate of progress is far from sufficient. The expressions of social conflict and the often desperate vote that favors outlandish populist promises are all symptoms of mounting levels of discontent. It is with a sense of urgency that we must grow our economies faster and in a more inclusive fashion. We're in the early days of an increasingly important North-South relationship. Even though Guatemala is small, it could play an important role in furthering that trend to the benefit of the region, as it represents the southernmost border of NAFTA and a choke point for both licit as well as illicit flows. In that light, please allow me to share some of the insights we've gathered on our journey towards improving our country. Very early on in this process, we realized that we can't plan for every scenario because there is simply too much noise and volatility to be handled by our ill-equipped institutions. President Perez Molina summed it up best in one of our first meetings when he said that he felt frustrated by the lack of progress due to meager institutional competencies. Therefore, we must focus on enhancing a few key capabilities, identifying the ones that have the most impact, and then letting the future take care of itself. And what are those key capabilities? They are most likely country-specific, but these are the foundational pillars that have provided the basis for our work in Guatemala. First, strengthening institutions. We do this by engaging citizens and encouraging them to bolster our often run-down government institutions so that they can effectively and efficiently do the work they're meant to perform. We understand that our donations, albeit millions of dollars to date, are but a drop in the bucket relative to our national budget. Therefore, the emphasis has to be on altering the behavior of public institutions as opposed to becoming alternative to those institutions. Our most recent work in that regard targets the eradication of corruption that is corroding our institutional framework. Second, safety. We've come to realize that security and justice are necessary preconditions for other developmental initiatives to flourish. Just 5 years ago, we were the third most violent country in the world with a homicide rate of 46 per 100,000. Heeding the wisdom of the Maslow pyramid, we need to satisfy the basic need for personal safety before we can move on to more substantive matters. One of our projects, Alertos, is using social media to empower citizens to report criminal incidents and track crime in their neighborhoods. Projects like Alertos and other citizen security initiatives have contributed towards reducing the homicide rate from 46 to 31 in just 5 years. Third, dialogue. Dialogue is fundamental in building consensus around a long-term roadmap with clearly delineated priorities. Developing the skills to articulate trade-offs and to develop societal agreements are particularly critical in a country such as my own, where no single political party has ever occupied the presidency more than once. The private sector-backed Mejoremos Guate initiative seeks to provide a platform for consensus towards that long-term development agenda with short-term actionable projects. Those short-term actionable projects have included outlandish ideas such as Guatemala Visible, which improves the meritocracy and transparency of our Supreme Court designations by publishing resumes of the judges being considered, and the Inventive Innovation Lab that works with 25 sectors of our economy to boost their potential for job creation. Fourth, leadership. A plan is only as good as the people that implement it. Or, as one of our donors constantly reminds us, people is policy. In its first year of operations, the Guatemalan School of Government has become the leading postgraduate educator of future civil servants and is truly disrupting the prevailing logic of cronyism. We plan to accompany that effort with changes to our civil service code, and we would welcome your help in exploring ways to promote true meritocracy and thus avoid the pitfalls of perverse political incentives. And finally, quality of education. My father, who devoted part of his life as a university professor, taught us the value of a quality education. I firmly believe that education is the most important long-term capability that we need to build to break free from our poverty trap. However, it is also the most elusive. Often, short-term agendas imposed by interested parties distract us from what should be the central actor of the educational system, the kids. The reality in Guatemala is dire, as only 24% and 7% of our graduates pass the basic reading and math exams, respectively. This is largely driven by the fact that less than 40% of the teachers pass those same tests. Through FunSEPA, we are continuously looking for new ways to apply technology in a cost-effective manner to turbocharge quality and leapfrog over years of gradualism. We've provided access to over 400,000 public school kids and have trained over 70,000 teachers in the usage of technology as a teaching tool. Most recently, I am very excited about the results of our groundbreaking experiments with Khan Academy. The path is not necessarily linear, nor are all the answers self-evident. But building these aforementioned capabilities has guided our work. Our recipe has also included high doses of technical research as well as experimentation. The dialogue has been a great ally, providing a platform to present research such as our fiscal paper. We've experimented with technology, social media, process mappings, and a whole host of unconventional ingredients to create out-of-the-box solutions. In doing so, we have steered away from pilot projects, but rather favored experiments that have national impact from the outset. We've learned much from successful projects around the region and look forward to honoring our teachers by paying it forward to others who might benefit from any of our experiences. In conclusion, I'd like to thank the people who make our outlandish ideas a reality, those unsung heroes on the ground implementing and executing, the talented staff heading our various projects, the teachers, the volunteers. They are proof that, as my grandfather Carlos Paiz used to say, if we can dream it, we can achieve it. It is thanks to their hard work and your recognition that we can make our dreams of a better and more peaceful future a reality. My deepest gratitude to my wife, to my family, and to all of our donors for supporting me and all of these crazy ideas. I hope that we may continue to work together and exploit the synergies of public-private collaboration so that we can leave the world a little better than how we found it. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you, Salvador Paiz, for your advocacy and civic engagement.